All right, so hi everyone. We'll be quickly going through why Abu Dhabi's off-plan is a much better value and entry point in 2025 compared to Dubai. So this PDF report is from Jake. He's the CEO of Equity Edge. Again, one of my favorite brokers in the market, in the industry, and a very honest guy. Okay, so why Abu Dhabi off-plan, right? First of all, the payment plans, they're investor friendly. For example, in Dubai, big developers like Emaar, Miras, Nakhil, the government developers, they usually ask for 70 to 80% during construction and 20 to 30% on handover. Of course, it's fair on them. They also have the demand, and they're always sold out. I don't blame them. But in Abu Dhabi, you've got the two main government developers, Modan and Aldar. Modern offers 40-60 payment plan, which means you only pay 40% during construction, 60 on handover. Aldar usually has similar plans, usually 50-50, 40-60, 60-40. And the core reason being they don't really need your money to build. Abu Dhabi's got a huge sovereign wealth fund, almost $2 trillion in sovereign wealth. So these government developers like Aldar and Modan, they're protected from the government. So they don't really need investor financing to build. Okay, the second main reason, the supply and demand, right? So in Dubai, I'm sure many of you guys receive countless project brochures every week, new launch in some new area and everything. Uh, let's look at history, what's being handed over in the last 4 years. So from 2021 to 2024, in Dubai, 200,000 off-plan units were sold. In Abu Dhabi, only 22,000 off-plan units were sold, almost a 10 times difference in supply, right? Okay, talking about this year, from Jan 2025 to July 2025, Dubai sold 66,000 off-plan units. Abu Dhabi sold only 4,000 off-plan units. Again, a 15 times difference in supply. Now you might be wondering, okay, that's probably because of the population. Dubai probably has a lot more people moving in. Yes, Dubai has people moving in, but you might be surprised it's on a slower pace than Abu Dhabi. The official 2024 population report came in June, and in the last 1 year, Dubai grew by almost 170,000 people by 4.5%, while Abu Dhabi grew by 290,000 people by 7.5%. So Abu Dhabi's population is growing at 7.5%, Dubai is growing by 4.5%. And of course, the total population of Abu Dhabi is around 4 million, and in Dubai it's 3.9 million. Populations are almost similar, Abu Dhabi is growing a bit faster. So basically, in Dubai, for every off-plan unit that was sold, Dubai added one new resident, whereas in Abu Dhabi, you got 27 new residents for each off-plan unit. So you can understand the supply-demand imbalance. So yeah, that's supply and demand. Okay, moving on over here. Of course, a very big selling point for Abu Dhabi is off-plan launch prices are much lower, cheaper than ready apartments. In Dubai, I'm sure you guys are seeing this trend where uh, off-plan prices are higher than ready apartments. And you might be wondering, why should I be paying 20-30% higher than the ready apartment and I should wait 3-4 years to receive possession, right? So in Abu Dhabi, you don't really have that problem because prices here are off-plan prices are much lower than ready apartments. Of course, basic business principle, whether you're buying fruits or vegetables or real estate or stocks, crypto, the profit you're going to make, the money you're going to make on that investment, it depends on just one key factor, your purchase price and the price you're able to sell at. So the lower your purchase price is, the higher you'll be able to sell at, and the gap between purchase and sale. Okay, moving on. In Abu Dhabi, payment plans, they're now linked with construction progress. They're not fixed installments. So in 2024, the regulations in Abu Dhabi were changed, which basically meant now your payment follows construction milestones. So you only pay when the work is done. You're not supposed to be paying on a fixed calendar every 6 months, every 3 months, every 2 months. Whereas in Dubai, that practice is still common. A lot of developers have fixed installment schedules, even if the work hasn't begun on the site. So yeah, of course, in Abu Dhabi, now you might argue that keep in mind now construction linked payment plans would be a good thing, but in the rare occasion that a construction is actually happening ahead of schedule, you need to have funds in hand. Keep this point in mind. Uh, that let's say, for example, in Dubai right now, I believe it was in either the Valley by Emaar, it was 8 months ahead of schedule. Sorry, Oasis by Emaar. So villas in Oasis right now are 8 months ahead of schedule, but a lot of people don't have the cash to pay that installment, a premature installment, because everyone was expecting to pay those installments at a later date. So keep that in mind. Okay, in Dubai, rental yields have now dropped to almost 5% net for most areas. Of course, there are a lot of exceptions, but generally it's between 5 to 6% net. And of course, you can just check everything on DXB Interact. Areas like downtown, Dubai Hills, Creek Harbor. For the last 12 months, rentals have been flat. Of course, core reason for that being more supply, more apartments are coming in. Tenants have more options to choose from, and that's why off-plan is becoming harder to flip in Dubai. Okay, then in Abu Dhabi, that's not an issue. In Abu Dhabi, Reem Island's rents have increased by 21% this year alone. If I could just show you guys the data from the official Abu Dhabi Real Estate Center website. If we look at the residential leases, so the apartment rent index has gone up by 11% this year. The villa rent index has gone up by 4.3% this year. And if you just look at the value of residential leases over here, so from 2024 at about 4 billion to now 4.3 billion. That's the difference in Abu Dhabi's rentals. And if you're looking at, of course, the average rents in Abu Dhabi over time, if you could just pick, for example, yeah, so it's a one bed apartment, okay, and in 2024, March 2024, February 24, all the way now to August 2025, it's almost a 40%, 30 to 40% increase. In 2024, you had rents at around 55, 58, 60,000 for a one bed apartment. Now they're at 85K. And they are going to continue upwards because of the shortage in supply. Right. And one more thing I really wanted to mention and stress upon in this report from Cavendish Maxwell, the mortgage activity. So in Abu Dhabi, if you're buying off plan, you have a lot more end users. People here are not investing in off plan speculative investments. People here usually want to buy to live in themselves. There's a very huge market of families and end users, which is why mortgage activity is up by 60% in the last 1 year for villas and townhouses alone. 60% of that clearly reflects that there's huge demand from end users and families. Uh, and for apartments, of course, mortgages have declined a bit. Perhaps they're becoming more affordable for cash buyers. There's not as much demand from families uh, compared to villas and townhouses because of larger spaces, layouts, gardens, and ready to move in options. Right, carrying on. So in the last 12 months, Abu Dhabi's villas have increased by about 17% on Saadiyat, it's 13%, and in Dream Island by about 15%, and Yas by about 7%. Okay, the core reason why are prices going to be continuing to go up for Abu Dhabi for the next 3, 4, 5 years? It's not just Disneyland and theme parks, no. It's something you may not have heard of, ADGM, Abu Dhabi Global Market. What's ADGM? It is Abu Dhabi's financial free zone, right? Just like in Dubai, you've got DIFC, and Abu Dhabi, you've got ADGM, right? Now, ADGM in the last 12 months, the growth has been insane. If I could just show you guys from their official website as well. Uh, just pardon my internet, guys. Right. So in the last 12 months, assets under management have grown by 33%. Number of new licenses that were issued is increased by 67% from 2024. And the number of operational companies, operational entities now sits at about 3,000, which is an increase of 43% from 2024. And the total workforce, the number of people working at ADGM, is up by 17%. What does this mean? Basically means that finance institutions, hedge funds, asset managers, they're choosing ADGM, Abu Dhabi's financial free zone, to set up uh, their companies, to register their companies, and they're moving and relocating here because, of course, golden visa benefits, tax benefits, safety, safest city in the world, uh, you know, lots of other factors. So ADGM is what's driving this growth, right? Why does this matter? Who are these people at ADGM? I'll just say one thing: these people are paid really well. That's it. That's it. That's enough for you guys to know. Nothing else to add. Uh, if I show you guys over here, continuing on, it's not just finance as well. By the way, I'm sure you guys have heard the news of Abu Dhabi receiving its first ever AI campus in collaboration with Microsoft and OpenAI. Now, this thing is so huge. It's the size of Monaco. It's going to be the size of Monaco as a country, as a city. Uh, and Abu Dhabi is sort of aiming to now become the AI capital of Middle East, of the region. Yeah. Uh, you might be wondering, why are they choosing OpenAI? Why are they choosing Abu Dhabi over other cities? If you look at Abu Dhabi's location, first of all, you've got lots of energy. You've got data centers here. You've got solar power, solar panels here because of the heat, the temperatures you're getting all year round. And these things, data centers and AI centers, they require a shit ton of energy to run. Now, of course, what does it mean when OpenAI is setting up in Abu Dhabi? You're going to get developers, engineers, founders, investors, VCs. These people are going to be moving to Abu Dhabi. They need accommodation. They're not going to be buying 10, 15-year-old buildings. They need good quality, luxury residences in Abu Dhabi, close to their workspace. And of course, ADGM has now expanded to include different asset classes, private credit, digital assets, structured finance offerings, cryptocurrencies. These are areas where previously in the past, traditional banks used to struggle. They couldn't keep up with Dubai, but now Abu Dhabi is really focusing on the future. Uh, so these are industries. Abu Dhabi is basically building trillion-dollar industries. They're building infrastructure for trillion-dollar industries because these are the people whom Abu Dhabi wants here, not just tourists or influencers. Abu Dhabi wants to attract high-income earners because when these people come, they spend, they live, and they rent long-term. Okay, moving on. Abu Dhabi's core advantage over Dubai, just to summarize, of course, family-focused living. Abu Dhabi has lots of theme parks and cultural districts. You've got Saadiyat Island, Yas Island. You've got the Louvre Abu Dhabi. You've got the Guggenheim opening very, very soon. You've got the National History Museum, Warner Brothers, Formula One, Disneyland. If I could just show you guys over here. So this is Yas Island. If I could just show you guys over here. Uh, so if I could just show you guys over here, right? So you've got Warner Brothers, you've got Yas Water World, you've got Ferrari World, you've got SeaWorld over here, you've got Etihad Arena, you've got the Formula One racing track, you've got Yas Beach, you've got Yas, you've got so much going on this island. And Disneyland is expected to be built over here on this side of the island. And prices on this year alone on prices of Yas Island have gone up by a very, very decent percentage. Of course, it's a very family focused living. Probably the best city I would say to raise a family. I myself have been born and raised in Abu Dhabi, and I don't think I would prefer. I feel I'm pretty lucky to have been raised in the city. Once you visit Abu Dhabi, you visit around the city, you're really gonna understand. Of course, we've got some of the cleanest beaches, I would say, in the world, not just in the Middle East. You've got so many mangroves along Jubail Island, Saadiyat Island, Badariyat Island, Bream Island. It feels like a very green coastal resort city. And this environment matters when you're buying a 10 million, 15 million dirham villa. You want to be around cleaner air, greenery around you, something that actually helps you live longer and happier life, rather than just being confined to tiny, cramped, boxed layouts. Of course, if we speak about Hudayrat Island, you've got Abu Dhabi's first Olympic standard velodrome coming to Hudayrat Island over here. So this island is so insane. I made a separate video on this. It's one of the best long-term bets in Abu Dhabi. You've got the most amount of sports facilities, the concentration of sports facilities in a single place in Abu Dhabi. You've got sporting arenas, you've got Abu Dhabi's first velodrome, you've got glamping resorts, you've got cycling trails, you've got hiking hills, you've got gyms. Absolutely insane on Hudayrat Island. And of course, in Abu Dhabi, you've got a lot less traffic and chaos. It's a much more spread out city. Pretty much anywhere you can get to and from in about 15, 20, 25 minutes. I would even say that right now, it takes you the same amount of time to get from Abu Dhabi to Dubai, from Yas Island to Dubai Marina, roughly, that it takes for you to go from Dubai Marina to Dubai Creek Harbor during peak traffic. So it's sort of like Abu Dhabi is growing closer to Dubai and Dubai is growing closer to Abu Dhabi. Okay, why 2025? It's not FOMO or something. It's just pure common sense. Right now, you're paying 30, 40% less in Abu Dhabi for beachfront or prime villas in good locations compared to Dubai. And you're getting much larger plots, better finishes, and a much more controlled supply, right? This pricing gap starting next year, it's not going to be there anymore. And we're already seeing that trend. Compared to January of 2025 and right now, prices in Yas, in Saadiyat, in Reem, they've gone up and they're going to continue growing up. So ask yourself this question: would you want to get in early and secure a good price per square foot, or would you want to wait uh, for 2 3 years before entering the market? Uh, so yeah, of course, 30, 40, and that's one of the reasons why in Abu Dhabi you're not going to find a lot of distressed deals, because prices here technically they're at a fair value. You're not going to find one bedroom apartments at 2 3 million dirhams. You can find one bedroom apartments exactly what they're worth for, and there's demand. So, of course, in Dubai, if you compare, in the last 12 months, there's a lot of off-plan resales. They're flattening. You're seeing a lot of distressed deals, OP deals. Reason being, too many launches. There's a lot less USP. Uh, Lots of copy-paste units in areas like JEC, which is why buyers are now struggling to resell, especially off-plan flippers who got in early. And payment plans have become more tough. Developers now require you to pay a lot of capital during construction. So that was sort of like a brief breakdown, an overview of why Abu Dhabi in 2025 and not Dubai. I can, of course, dive deeper into the projects, where to invest. So if you guys are interested, just drop me a comment or a WhatsApp message with your budget and your requirements for an apartment or a villa, and I'll get on a call with you and I'll guide you exactly where to invest. And we'll be using